Welcome to selfdiscoveryradio.com, where the orchard of wisdom is just ready for picking. We celebrate your why, the journey that you've taken that inspires someone else. We support your services, we support your story. Come and be our guest, become a host, be an author with us. Come and see what we've got. Our next show is...
Good day and welcome. This is Kiti Adley, Dr. Kiti Adley, physical therapist. Stop. I am panicking. Okay, let me take 2 deep breaths.
Take a deep breath.
I know.
And set your intention. Take a deep breath. Count to 4.
I know. I don't know why I panicked.
Yeah. If you breathe, you wouldn't panic.
Mommy, I breathed. Recovering. I can't remember the name of my show. That's what happened. Is it Recovering the Whole You? Oh, Lord. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Relax and breathe. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
It is.
Sir, I'm going to give you a lot to clean up, but I promise you once I get started, it's going to be awesome. So just bear with me. I just drew blank. I just went straight blank. Okay, recovering the whole of you. Recovering the whole of you. Why didn't I remember that? Recovering the whole of you. All right.
I hope I can answer your questions.
You will answer all of my questions. You will be so awesome. All right. Okay. Good day and welcome to Recovering the Whole of You. I am Dr. Kiti Adley, physical therapist and recovery expert, and I hope you're enjoying the first few days of 2019. I'm so excited that you can be here to join us. I am on today with Dr. Ann Rolle, holistic practitioner, and we're going to be talking about detoxing. Last podcast, radio show, we talked about starting the year off right, starting with one step to wellness. And I thought, what better way to start with new intentions than to clean out the old ones and clean the clutter. And the topic of detox came up, and I said, let me bring the expert on detoxing here. So I'll introduce Dr. Ann Rolle, and could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, good morning. Thank you for inviting me. Who am I? Ann Rolle, with several years of health behind me. Passionate about health despite my long journey during the health profession. First as a nurse, public health nurse, holistic nutrition, and some others that have been added along the way. So in my quest for helping people and making health a priority, I find myself every day thinking of how else can I best serve to improve health, my health and family health and clients' health.
Okay. So right now, what services do you offer?
I offer first general service, but my passion, when I say general service, most anyone who really needs to improve their health, i.e. Chronic diseases, blood pressure, high blood pressure, diabetes, pain, whatever it is. But my real focus and real passion is to work with women, empower women, because I find that most women, or a lot of women, especially in the health-minded, busy woman caught up in the workplace, they tend not to take too much time for themselves, and as a result of the outcome of the work, their bodies tend to take a beating in that sense. As a result, a lot of women suffer with hormone imbalance, gut issues, weight, which impact their whole lifestyle. And so that's where I'm at, helping women to just feel better about themselves, lose the weight, balance the hormones, get the gut going, improve digestion, the bloating, the gas, and just not feeling good about themselves. So this is where my passion lies. And I do as much as I can to empower.
Those things are so necessary because as you talk to women, we're usually those are the things that concern us. Am I eating healthy? I'm not at the weight that I think I should be or the ideal weight. And so these are daily struggles that women focus with. What I really want to do is just make sure that we touch everything, because this is a holistic approach to wellness and a holistic approach to recovery. But prevention is better than cure. So if we can start talking about preventative care, then we probably won't have to go into recovery. And so this is why I'm so excited to start this session off talking about detoxing, because we want to get to wellness. And so, people usually don't know when they should get a detox. They sort of guess. But I was reading an article and it talked about 10 signs to know. And some of the signs that they listed were: you feel fatigued and stressed and overwhelmed. You experience frequent headaches or lack of mental clarity. You often have skin breakouts and blemishes and tired, lackluster complexion. You seem to pick up colds and flus and bugs and viruses easily, even often on medication. Your digestion that you talked about is troublesome, uncomfortable, and irregular. You slip into less healthy food choices, often have fried food, processed meats, dairy, gluten processed foods, refined sugars, or fast food. And that's a lot of us, because as we try and get through the day, we know we need to eat. And sometimes we grab the foods that are more available, and usually they're the less healthy, less nutritionally dense foods. They also go on to list that you frequently have coffee and alcohol and prescription drugs or cigarettes. You carry excess body weight. A few of us need to lose those 2 extra pounds. And you feel emotionally unstable, depressed, unmotivated. You lack energy and enthusiasm for life. And I know many people out there listening can identify with at least one of 2 of these things. So perhaps you're at a point where a detox will be quite helpful to you at this point. So, Anne, could you talk to us a little bit about what detoxes can look like and what's available for us as detoxes, especially as women, and just give us an idea of what we're looking at.
Okay, I think first of all, you have to look at to see what is really a toxin. When we say detox, what are we detoxing from?
Right.
You mentioned quite a few things, but sometimes you have a little bit more to deal with. So when you talk about the detox, you want to make sure or try to get the body to be more available to you, in the sense, because the body is really self-correcting, but we are impacted every day by some of the things that you mentioned. And as a result, we are all so different. It takes different forms in each of us. We don't always have the same symptoms. We might have been affected by the same toxin or problem, but it affects us differently. So I think it's finding what it is that is pertinent for you and allowing the body to do what it needs to do. So you're really supporting the body within a certain time frame. Some people can detox for a day or 2 days, but ideally you want to find the right mix, because sometimes you just go on this quick fast, which sometimes doesn't really speak to the problem. But when you look at maybe a 14-day, 21-day, or sometimes even longer, you're looking for certain areas in the body to impact. Our body tends to take a lot of the beating, especially our liver health. Most of the things you mentioned, we have food or whatever it is that we impact. As they say, food, we don't only eat food, we eat everything else in our environment. The environment is so important because yes, we take in the food, but what else are we taking in? We're taking it in through our skin, through our breathing, through our external environment, wherever, different ways. When we bathe, you're taking toxins, you're putting the makeup on, the walking out there, we exposed to the electric, EMF, all the things from the cell phones and all the other media stuff. So the liver takes a beating when it comes to that. And the liver is responsible for so many different functions in the body. So when you look at detox, my focus helps to direct that to the liver, because the liver is sluggish and tired and overworked and a lot of poisons there. No matter that first 1 day cleanse or 1-2 day cleanse, it really doesn't impact it. So we try to put a lot of focus on the liver to clear out, so you feel better, the skin gets better, you can sleep better, because sleep is a big thing when it comes to toxins in the body.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and brain fog. We don't consider our brain, we see it like separate from the rest of our body, but everything that happens starts with the brain. There's this brain, that connection. So sometimes you find that once you get cleaned out, you have more mental clarity,
Okay.
And the gut, as I said, everything starts in the gut. So there's
Okay.
a deep connection there. So you want to address all that, and then you want to actually you just want to clean out. You want to put back. What are we doing to support and to put back so the body can at least function at its optimal?
Okay, so that's a lot of information that you gave, and a lot of people talk about detoxing, and there are a lot of detoxes out there. So to somebody who's listening, who's not very familiar with detox, who's never done a detox before, but is really interested in trying this process because they want to start fresh, they want to clean out, they want to add in as well, like you said, build up. What advice would you give them into getting started with a detox?
First of all, I'll keep it simple. There are certain foods that we like to eliminate or take out from the diet, because foods contribute to certain of the problems that you talked about earlier on. So a lot of sugars. A lot of people are addicted to sugar. Where is the sugar coming from? The processed food, the drinks, the soft drinks, the flours, white flour, the white sugar. Most of the processed foods. So if you can stop or eliminate those from the diet, let's keep it simple. There's a lot of research that speaks to gluten. Gluten is like the protein in the certain type of protein. Not everybody could digest that type of protein, that gluten. And it's very, very common in our foods, our processed foods. A lot of the foods that we eat contain gluten.
And could you give us some examples for people who may not be familiar with where we can find this gluten food?
Well, it's, as I said, in all the flours. We use a lot of the white flours, and now
bread, pasta,
the pasta, the macaronis, the noodles, anything that's sort of man-made. A lot of the foods are man-made, but you find that those are the things that most people would eat, and they would they cause problems for a lot of people, because you say, well, how do I know that? Maybe you have gas. For example, I had a client a little while ago, and they said, okay, gas and bloating, and every time she eats, she feels like loggy. And so I talked about the bread. Let's see if we can remove the bread for a week.
Okay.
A lot of people, and because it's kind of addictive, we talk about the brain-gut connection. It's kind of addictive. So as a result of that, once she removed the gluten at the breast for that particular time, she found she had more energy. and the brain fog wasn't as bad because you can function better. But a lot of people do not connect the behavior with the food we eat. And that was one of the ways I worked with, removing certain foods from the body, give the body a rest. Sometimes it could be detrimental because you end up with other issues in other
Right.
parts of the body, like arthritis, migraines, other gut problems.
Mhm.
And we don't realize the food could be a source of a toxin in that sense.
I definitely see that in my physical therapy practice because there are times when we treat patients and we do the pain management and they're doing well, they exercise well, they're telling you that they don't have much pain, give them their home exercise program and they go home and then they come back the next session, they're complaining about pain and I'm like, talk about it. What did you do to aggravate your pain symptoms? And they can't think of anything that physically active may have triggered the pain symptom. And then we say, well, let's look at your foods. What did you eat? And when they start listing the foods, it's like you mentioned, it's the high sugar foods, the processed foods, the gluten, what we call the pro-inflammatory foods.
Yes.
You
Yes.
have joint injuries and muscle injury. When you eat these types of foods that are pro-inflammatory, the processed, the sugar, the high fats, the dairy, they can actually trigger a more painful response in recovering muscle tissue and joint tissue. And so this is a very good point for people that are actually going through musculoskeletal issues, muscle pain and joint pain, that perhaps detoxing or avoiding these foods for a period of time, especially during the recovery aspect of it, may be quite beneficial in getting you to feel better faster and have a better, more complete recovery. So thank you so much for bringing up that point. So sometimes we look at detox as being these extreme things, but it could just be as simple as removing one or two food groups out of the system for a little bit.
Absolutely.
That's a great point. You're also a metabolic
Typing advisor.
advisor. Great. And as we talk about body systems, could you talk a little bit about how the metabolic advisor and detoxing goes? What you do as a metabolic advisor, and how would you use detox as one of your modalities to help people deal with their metabolism better?
Okay, first of all, let me see if I can define metabolic typing before I'm an advisor. It's a
Okay.
type of, okay, let's start with our bodies. We are all so different. We are individually made, sort of. And our genetics are all different and individualized. When we talk about metabolic typing, in the nutshell, I'm going to give you a small version of it. It means that how I eat or what I eat is really pertinent to my body needs. What do I mean by that? One man's food is another man's poison. We know that the body has ways of working around, we are all humans, but genetically, there are certain things that are needed by our bodies to get optimum health from it. And one of the areas we look at is how food behaves in our body.
Okay.
Food behaves differently in each of us bodies. And for us to get the optimum health from the food, the cells and everything has to be working in tandem to give you what you want. How does metabolic typing come in? It's a form of figuring out what foods are best for your body type. As a result of that, we say we type you. It's a generalized questionnaire, but it's quite comprehensive. And as a result of comprehensive but simple, but it's based on finding what it is that your body needs to work best. For example, you may go out to dinner with your friend and you've eaten, both of you have had the same meal, but after the meal, you may find that I need something sweet. The meal was okay, but I need something sweet, something is missing, whereas your friend is saying, hey, I'm fine, I don't need anything else. And that could happen frequently. Why? Because our metabolism is so different. One person may be able to recall that not to get too technical, everything is controlled by the brain. But one person may desire more heavier foods like protein foods, and one person may need some light food, more carb food. So it's the rate at which you burn your food.
Okay.
So some people maybe, that's only one part of it. Some people, what we call the fast oxidizer, they need more protein and fats. Look at the Eskimos, look at where they live. They survive on that type of diet. If we don't live there, but because of our makeup or hue or genetics, you find that some people are more prone to eating more of the protein type, or when it's tested, and some people just need a little bit of protein for the day because they'll say, okay, I don't need to eat every 2-3 hours. I can eat once a day and I feel fine. So they may be on the slow side, the slow oxidizer. So they don't need all that heavy meat and steak and all that. Sometimes that make them lazy and tired and sleepy when they eat heavy like that.
So
Whereas,
sorry, go ahead.
Whereas one person may eat a lot of carbs, which is what's happening in our diet now, high carbs, lots of rice, macaroni, potatoes, and all that. And you may not feel good afterwards. You may be bloated, gassy, and all that, because you may not be that type. So when you're metabolically type, you actually find out what type you are. Then you have more energy. You don't have much cravings. I feel satisfied. There's a sense of well-being. And those, we don't count calories. We ask the body to tell you. So your body is actually going to be telling you, how do I feel an hour after I eat? Am I satisfied? And so this is one of the ways we are testing. It's a lot more, but this is in a nutshell.
Okay. So for somebody who's considering a detox, would you recommend them do their metabolic typing before, or when would you implement metabolic typing for somebody who's considering detoxing, or who wants to make detox now a part of their wellness program?
Okay. First of all, I'd like to find out your reasons why. You always want to find out why, what is important for you about getting a detox. And that may give you some clues as to what's happening. You know, as over the years, you've learned how some people's patterns are. So they can start the detox with just pulling out some of those foods.
Okay.
To start off with, the sugars, the alcohol, the high fat foods, the grease foods, a lot of the gluten foods, and processed foods. You pull that out and just start putting more nutrient dense food in. We take away, but we always have to add more nutrient dense food, more water, more fruits, more vegetables, and see how the body goes.
Okay.
And still afterwards introduce metabolic typing, because they may have other issues to deal with. Because can I give you an example of how metabolic typing works? Would that be okay at this time?
Well, we might have to bring you back to talk about metabolic typing, because we really want to get in detox in the time frame. Okay. What other recommendations could you give for somebody that wants to detox? Like, we know we're pulling out foods, but one of the things that we try and stress as physical therapists, especially for people that are changing diets, is always to make sure that you keep up with your water content. Mm-hmm. Is there any other advice you would give around hydration and water content?
Hydration, water content, yes. Make sure you have the absolute maximum amount of water. Again, based on your size, because we would say 6 to 8 glasses. But if you are struggling with obesity, you might always suggest more water, extra couple of glasses a day, and not hydrating to the point of excess.
Okay. And what would be excess?
Moderately. And you don't want to be drinking too much water towards the nighttime, so you can have to disturb your sleep. That's hydration. Then you look at the whole body. We are complete, body, mind, and spirit. Is one thing you're working on the body, but what's happening in your mind? Where's the stress level? How you feel about yourself? you might be, there's a lot of anxiety, they might be going to, so you have to look at the whole picture. What else is happening in my life? If I'm going to detox, I'm not going to just focus on the food I'm eating and the water I'm drinking or the exercise. Okay, that's important too. But what frame of mind I am in, because remember we said we are what we eat. So not
Right.
the food, but what are we feeding our minds with?
What we digest, we're what
What
we digest as
yes.
well.
What's
Yeah.
coming in? What am I taking in emotionally, mentally, spiritually? Um, everything, the whole person.
Great, great. So that's a lot of good information, and I think some people may want us to delve in it a bit more, and I'd be so happy to do that. Um, as a recovery expert, detox are some of the things, or one of the modalities that we talk about and we recommend, especially for people that have not really done such a good job of what they've digested, especially via food. And so I really wanted to talk about this because if you're making one step closer to wellness, you want to make sure that you're starting off with a good foundation. Like Dr. Ann said, you are what you eat. Your food is your foundation. But we also know, like she mentioned as well, detoxing is just not what you digest internally through food, but putting yourself in that mind frame, getting your mind right. You spoke about mind, and we promote as physical therapists a lot of physical activity, not really exercise. We don't like to use the word exercise anymore because it's such a deterrent, but physical activity, moving more. If that means taking a walk, if that means dancing, if that means cycling, just do something to move, because as you're detoxing and we're drinking that extra water, we want to make sure that you're moving those muscles. The other thing I think we forget to mention, especially with detoxing, that the lymphatic system is so important. And we want to make sure that we encourage movement of the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is a system that helps the body get rid of toxins. So it's larger than the actual blood circulation system. It's intertwined with every muscle, every joint, every cell of the body is bathed with this lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system relies on muscle activity to move the fluid through the system. So this is why we really promote physical activity. Move. You can also assist the lymphatic system with massages, and we do lymphatic massages as well to assist that, especially in handling your health, because I'm also a lymphatic massage therapist. So when you think about detoxing, let's just not think about food like Dr. Ann's mentioned. You want to talk about your mind. What are you reading? What music are you exposing yourself to? Positive affirmations. What are you doing in terms of movement? Are you being more physically active? And to know that there are resources here, definitely. You see, Dr. Ann has tons and tons and tons of information to go into in terms of detoxing. And that's the basics. So after you do detox, what do you do after that? Where do we build from there? And so hopefully this has triggered some ideas for you. And please feel free to reach out to us and give some and for more information. I will ask Dr. Ann if she can give her closing remarks and just give us your information of how we could reach out and find you for more of this information, please.
Thank you. One of the things we did mention, which is critical to detox, is elimination. So we have to get that out. What are the things where we have to close? A lot of people don't like to talk about it.
Right.
That is critical when we're talking about detox. So you want everything to flow smoothly. And that's where your food comes in. We talked about it briefly, but your fruits, your vegetables, and just get things moving. And as you rightly said, the more movement you have, physical movement, the better the elimination part stays. And then we have to help the liver as well. In closing, you can find, as a matter of fact, I'm starting a detox group session on February the 4th.
Okay.
21 days to better health. So you can learn a lot more about detoxing and get involved. You can reach me at 424-2269.
Can you put your area code for us, please?
Area code 242-424-2269.
Awesome.
242-322-5496. My email is ANNUX_27@yahoo.com.
Good. Thank you so much. So I want to say thank you to everybody that took the time out to listen to this this message. We really hope that you were able to get some information, helpful information, and we hope that you would utilize the information that you got. I am Dr. Kiti Adley, physical therapist, recovery expert. You found that I'm a lymphedema therapist as well, from Handling Your Health, Wellness and Rehab, Physical Therapy Clinic and Wellness Center in Nassau, Bahamas. I look forward to our next chat. Until we meet again, be well. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
For more wonderful shows like this, please go to selfdiscoveryradio.com, podcasts, and see our lineup. And if you wish to support us, we have a funded button. Please stay tuned for our next show.